up today on 90 Day Fiancé Unfiltered, a master tell-all no limits preview, breaking down this week's finale fallout and every single chaotic second of the trailer. From Matt cheating on Jasmine, yes, to Guillermo's strip-tease for his ex-wife, and the gnarly physical altercation that went down as cameras rolled. Plus, which cast member from the past who is infamous for her tell-all feuds may be showing up to wreak havoc? I have cast updates and recaps from this week's brand new episodes of Happily Ever After and The Other Way straight ahead. TLC went from giving us no spoilers, no leaks, no nothing for the upcoming Happily Ever After tell-all to this super unhinged 2.5-minute trailer that aired after the finale on Sunday night. So let's break it all down together because honestly, I am a little bit overwhelmed and I need you guys to help me fill in some of the blanks here. Let's kick things off with the most shocking reveals from Sunday night's preview for the trailer. It is a tell-all, no limits, everyone, for the first time since last spring, which was actually the last Happily Ever After tell-all. They are doing what they call a tell-all no limits, which means that not only are they filming the cast interacting and spilling their guts in studio in New York City, but they are also then following the cast in the evening to where they're all going to live together in what I'm calling the tell-all mansion, which last season was in New Jersey. This looks like the same house. I guess we will have to wait and see. But this creates all kinds of chaos amongst the cast. It is not anymore just about telling us what's going on in their lives and their relationships, but for them actually throwing down. At the last tell-all no limits, Angela and Michael got into an altercation at the house. Ed and Thais were splashing each other and really arguing in the hot tub, remember? So this promises to bring tons of memorable moments this season. There is sure to be enough craziness for a 4-part tell-all. Oh, it makes me so excited. One of the big questions that we all had is who would be at the helm of all of this chaos? Who would be in the host chair after the last 90 Day Fiancé tell-all, which was for Hunt for Love, had a big shock by bringing in a brand new host in Suki. So fans were wondering if that was a permanent change or if the tried and true Sean Robinson would be back on our screens. We have our answer from the trailer, and it is Sean who will be sitting down with this cast and getting to the bottom of all the juicy gossip. I just made another video where I recapped all of the wildest moments from the tell-alls, and I just have to say that Sean has really dealt with anything and everything over the years, and while Suki did a fantastic job on Hunt for Love, and that really was a different energy, I'm happy to see Sean back in that chair. She really knows how to control these people. You may have also noticed that we didn't see who any of these special guests are going to be in the preview for the tell-all, but TLC has confirmed that there will be past cast members on set to help get to the bottom of everything, and of course create even more feuds. I told you all a few weeks ago, some eagle-eye fans had spotted that Kara was posting from the same hotel in New York City in early October as Shekinah of Shekinah and Sarper, who we last saw on season 11 of the 90 Day Fiancé OG series. And she had a whole throwdown with Amani at her tell-all, and that wasn't Shekinah's first or probably last cast feud. So you can expect to see Shekinah and Sarper there giving their 2 cents on the action that went down on Happily Ever After this season. And I am really excited about that. I think that was a great choice. I also believe that some of this cast from Happily Ever After and Shekinah and Sarper will all be appearing on The Last Resort whenever that happens in the future. So let's jump right into all the action. I'm going to do things a little bit differently this week. We're going to do the recap and a tell-all no limits preview all in one, going couple by couple instead of rehashing the finale and then going over the trailer. Let's put it all together so we can really get to the bottom of what we think we are going to see. Gino is a great place to start. From the finale, we learned that he is now focused on moving forward. He wants to start dating again and just has this pesky little issue of his current wife being pregnant. Gino learned this week that Jasmine had Matilda, and his reaction was so lackluster. What did you guys think about this? Gino saw the photo of Jasmine, Matt, and the baby for the first time ever right there on his phone, right in front of his face, and all he could say was, interesting. You don't sound that broken up about any of this to me, Gino. And also, why does he keep pushing the idea that he was the one who wanted to have a baby with Jasmine? He keeps talking about that now that she has had a baby with someone else. I think it's just an attempt to make her look bad again. That was not something that we saw Gino and Jasmine discussing during their marriage. Yeah, they said, yeah, we'd like to have a family at some point, but really there was more talk about Jasmine bringing her kids here and more just about the state of their marriage. Remember, Gino wouldn't even baby make with Jasmine towards the end of their marriage. So how did he ever think that was going to happen, and did he really want it? I'm not buying that. It's just another tactic now in his arsenal of revenge. Part of his revenge is clearly laying the groundwork for being on more episodes, more spin-offs of this series. It was very clear to me that his little shopping scene in the hammer pants, doing his dance, made for some great social media fodder, and also is a great sort of pilot for Gino appearing on whatever the next season of The Single Life is. There have been rumors that that is happening, and this seemed to really be a setup for Gino's single life and what fans are going to be able to expect from that. A lot of silliness and a little bit of dancing, I guess. Meanwhile, baby Matilda is now 2 months old. We've had a passage of time on the finale since the last episode. And Matt, surprise, loves being a dad. Not only that, he seems to really be giving us a different Matt than he was before. He opens this episode by praising Jasmine and giving her tons of respect, saying, yeah, it's hard for him being a new dad, but it must be even more difficult with Jasmine. All the work that she's putting in, also being a mom to a newborn. I love to hear that from him. I did not love to hear that he had finally told his mom about the situation when Matilda was born, but he followed that up with still another lie and told his mother that he and Jasmine are engaged. Matt telling his mom a half-truth, I think, was done when he was still an idiot, right after he just became a new dad, and now he's becoming a little more responsible and a little more mature. So how does that shake out on the finale episode? Well, his sister Rebecca and mom Olympia, who is a real Christian to me, not someone who is trying to point fingers and judge others. Matt's mom really is faithful and talks about how Jesus is going to have to forgive Jasmine and Matt for their sins, but also how he forgives her, Olympia, and everyone else. I really appreciate the kind of Christian that Olympia is. I think it's very genuine, and I have a lot of respect for that strong of faith. She really is concerned that Jasmine, Matt, and this baby are going to hell. She cries about it, and it is so heart-wrenchingly sad. Even with all the drama, Matt says that he has no regrets about his relationship with Jasmine and having baby Matilda, and he's really seeming to take responsibility for the situation that he has found himself in. Finally, more growth from Matt. That all culminates into a big proposal. Yes, can you imagine proposing to someone who is already married? Well, you probably wouldn't have thought that through too much, just like Matt didn't. So all he has is a string and the words coming from his heart when he sits down with Jasmine by the pool and he says to Jasmine, some kind of nice stuff. And also, would you maybe consider marrying me sometime in the future if I asked? He's really hedging in his words. He is laying his heart on the line, but part of that is, yes, I love you, Jasmine, but I'm not really ready to get serious. The proposal really seemed to me like Matt just sussing out Jasmine. Where are we at here? How much more responsibility do I need to show? Where are we going with this? What can I tell my mom without lying? I'm sure Matt never imagined that Jasmine would have responded to his proposal with a string in the way that she did, telling him that if she ever heals from her relationship with Gino and wants to get remarried again, she would like that to be to Matt. But Jasmine just doesn't know what the future holds. And that is how Jasmine, Matt, and Gino's storylines wrap up before next week, where Gino, Jasmine, and Matt finally all come face to face on camera for the first time ever. Remember when Gino and Jasmine were at the Last Resort Tell All where she revealed her pregnancy? Matt was nowhere to be found there. So there are bound to be some fireworks flying when they all finally come face to face. But there's more to this. Jasmine and Matt are having some issues as well that we haven't heard about yet. We get a scene in the trailer where Jasmine is questioning Matt back at the Tell All mansion about having sex with another woman.
Is there anything you want to say? And you were having sex with her? Yes or no?
They're sitting out on the patio and she is really grilling him, asking for details. And we don't get a definitive answer. Of course, they're just trying to tease us. But Matt then tells the cameras,
I just do some stupid ass in life.
well, we could certainly characterize having sex with another woman as just that. Jasmine and Matt have been so good at playing us on social media as these episodes air. Jasmine has even called him not her partner, just her baby daddy. Oh, we're just friends. And now they're talking about maybe getting married. So it is really hard to tell what is going on with them in real time. This would have been filmed several weeks ago. They're clearly still together. But if Matt did cheat on Jasmine, that's something fans are going to have a lot to say about, seeing as how a lot of people feel that Jasmine cheated on Gino. Did she deserve this? We'll have to see the whole tell-all to decide. Then at the house, Guillermo of Karen Guillermo gets himself involved, and he asks Matt,
what if she just decide to go back to Gino?
this is something that we have never discussed, never even thought of, never considered to be an option. That I kind of even went, what if she did? Well, Gino wouldn't be on the single life next season, that's for sure. What is going to go down between Jasmine and Gino, who are still married at the tell-all? Well, Jasmine is doing some pouring out of her own heart, but to Gino, not Matt. And she tells Gino that
I don't think that I will ever love someone like I love you.
And also, get this, you guys. Jasmine tells Gino,
I have never wanted to be with Matt. Ever.
I assume what she's doing there is telling Gino that she didn't want the marriage to end. Never forget that Gino was the one who threw her out on Christmas. So if she is kind of pleading with him and trying to convince Gino that she didn't cheat and that her current situation is not what she wanted, that could maybe play more into the legalities of the divorce. Maybe Jasmine is trying to convince Gino to drop his marriage fraud charges that he filed with immigration. Jasmine is a master manipulator. I will give her that. And we will have to watch to find out if she is really just trying to play Gino. Matt, by the way, is watching that whole entire conversation between Jasmine and Gino go down. It looks like he actually hears Jasmine tell Gino that she never wanted to be with him, etc. Matt looks stunned and heartbroken in what is the final scene of the trailer. There was really a great way to wrap that up. And we will see how their crazy open marriage and a baby all wraps up over the next few weeks. What about Julia and Brandon? Where are they at in the finale? Well, they are pretending to have a financial situation. Now it really felt like they were just playing out scenes. Okay, we can tell everybody that we are having a baby now, so let's show us playing with and trying to figure out baby gear. Very cute. Julia explains that she actually is experiencing a high-risk pregnancy. She has a hole in her uterine wall. That sounds very serious. She does say on the episode that the baby could die, but they don't sound like they are that concerned about it. I want to add here, we shouldn't speculate about this specifically, but I just want you all to keep in mind that couples do have miscarriages that cause extra anxiety when they do get pregnant again. I have never been pregnant, but this is something I hear a lot of women talk about on podcasts, etc., is that rainbow baby and how excited you are, but also how terrified people are who have had miscarriages before. So there are a lot of reasons why Julia could be so nervous about her pregnancy, and these real serious health problems are obviously one of them. Julia explained her situation with her mother-in-law, Betty, a lot more this week. She puts it like this. She says, Betty and me had a rough conversation before we left for Europe. And then TLC flashes to the conversation that all four of them had. But I'm wondering, was there another just between Julia and Betty? Did Betty say something so egregious that that is now why Julia hasn't spoken to her? And is that what they're talking about in the tell-all clips? Let me continue to explain. So Julia also said on the Happily Ever After episode that she had talked to Betty 3 weeks ago. And the timeline here is that they have been back from Europe for 5 months at this point, but that she hadn't seen Betty in person yet. And Julia says in this conversation that she told Betty that she does not want to go to the farm, was the way Julia put it. But I'm thinking it might have been more like, Betty, I don't want to step foot on your property ever again. I am not coming to your house. I think maybe all of the hullabaloo of what's going on between Julia and Brandon may end up being able to be explained just by her issues with Betty. Regardless of what happened between Julia and her mother-in-law, Julia and Brandon deciding to tell their friends about the pregnancy first really feels like something that is done to, in the future, twist the knife in to Ron and Betty. Can you imagine having to tell them, yeah, we're pregnant, yay? And you weren't the first ones to hear. They are not going to take a liking to that. I'm also wondering if maybe Julia told her parents, but Brandon doesn't know that, or maybe they're just not covering that on their show. But either way, Ron and Betty are going to be livid when they find out that they were not the first to know. And maybe they're right in that. Is it more terrible for Julia and Brandon not to tell them that they are going to have a baby? Or has Betty's behavior just been more deplorable and make them justified in doing so? All this seems to be whirling around in Brandon's head. At the end of the episode, he says something that makes it sound like he is going to tell his parents, regardless if Julia wants him to or not, or that he perhaps already did when they were sitting down on the couch filming their interview together for the finale. If that's what happened, that could possibly explain the potential dissension between Julia and Brandon that she has been teasing on social media, and that seems to be part of the tell-all. Julia and Brandon are finally going to reveal some kind of truth to Betty and Ron when they sit down in the studio. Ron and Betty appear virtually, and Julia begins by explaining,
Me and Betty relationship has become a lot. We have reason why we disconnect.
You got to share it with us, Julia.
okay, Julia, finally tell us. Ron is pleading with her, begging, you gotta share it with us. Okay, so that's that, her and Betty dissension. Later in the tell-all trailer, this is maybe about something else.
We are lying. We doesn't tell.
What? Betty is dying to know what that is. She is asking over and over, what is it? What is it? This could all just still be about the pregnancy timing. Maybe Julia was pregnant twice, and that's how they have really been able to elude us on the timing of everything, and why they've been able to keep whatever is going on between Julia and Brandon and whatever is going on between Julia and her in-laws a secret. Or it could just be clever editing. Maybe all they're revealing is why Julia is so mad at Betty, and maybe Ron and Brandon don't know something there, so everybody's getting a shock. But it could be a little more tempered than what the trailer makes it look like. Or do Brandon and Julia actually have a secret? I'm saying right here, right now, there is no way that Brandon and Julia are broken up. I want to say something so extreme that, like, if Brandon and Julia are breaking up, I'll cancel this show right now and never speak about 90 Day Fiancé ever again. I am that sure, but I just wouldn't want to chance that because I love doing this all with you. Maybe Brandon and Julia are moving to Russia with the baby. You can imagine that wouldn't go over well with Ron and Betty. What is the big secret? Is there even one? We will find out. At least they have been giving us a whole lot of drama and a whole lot of questions over there in that storyline. Let's move on to the OG3 couples, as we have been calling them here, who have given us boring and gimmicky scenes all the way to the end, all the way to this week at the finale. We only see two of the three couples because Loren and Alexei have already left Lake Placid, but Yara, Jovi, Andrei, and Elizabeth are going to sit down and make s'morfs, but they don't know what s'mores are actually called or how to make them. Elizabeth continues in their final scene to self-produce, as she has throughout this entire Happily Ever After season, and the two couples rehash some of the same stuff that they have been talking about throughout the entire season over and over again. Elizabeth is very self-aware in addition to self-producing. She posted on Facebook this week after the episode aired, just clarifying for all of us that she is not the villain, as many fans are calling her. She is just real, and you can either handle it or you can't. Okay, well, I think we can handle it, Elizabeth, but I don't love to see all the fakery. Jovi isn't into the fake stuff either. He goes full bore in this final scene, calls Andrei a cancer. Then Elizabeth and Andrei demand that Jovi and Yara pick a side between them or Loren and Alexei. They then call Yara the mean way for saying bitch, not the nice way, as Yara explains. And then Elizabeth and Andrei storm off. And that is the end of the OG3's happily ever after story until we get to NYC. In the Tell All preview, Loren is screaming on stage. Shut up! Woo! But it all seems to still be stemming from the text message drama.
Let's talk about the text messages.
Elizabeth asks Alex on stage why he's so pissed if it's not true, referring to Loren saying that her husband was body shaming her in the text messages.
I'm not pissed.
He seems pretty level-headed here, but Elizabeth isn't holding back. She reveals
Loren and I aren't friends anymore because we can't trust each other because you open your mouth.
Andrei jumps in, says, get the F out of here. Let's talk about those text messages. And then Loren continues screaming her head off at either Andrei and or Elizabeth to shut up. But they are not going to shut up. Elizabeth says,
This is the tell all. We're gonna tell all.
this is the tell all, and we are going to effing tell all. It's a little shocking when you watch on HBO Max that the curse words are not bleeped out. Just makes everything feel so much more charged. Like this shot that we get in the trailer of Loren just looking terrified. Loren's demeanor, her fear makes me wonder if Elizabeth really has something on her that hasn't yet come out. They were very good friends for a long time, and it's not going to stop here. Back at the Tell All Mansion is where it gets really gnarly. Andrei confronts Jovi and says,
He blocked us on social media.
You're gonna apologize for the way you acted?
No, I'm not gonna
apologize. You never apologize.
Hey, this is a two-way game.
I think he means it's a two-way street, probably as far as apologies go. Remember, we did see him a few episodes ago when he was apologized to by Loren. He actually apologized. So this scene could have gone a lot different, but we see that what happens is Andrei calling Jovi a little bitch, and then it gets violent.
So you're gonna be a little bitch and just tell me.
I'll be a little bitch. Oh, seriously.
You do yourself.
It is kind of scary. It's very extreme. We haven't seen Andrei get that physical since he threw down with his brother-in-law, Charlie. Remember when they threw the cake and stuff too at his daughter's birthday party? Get the F out of my birthday house. This is not the first time that we've seen Andrei go too far. But in this case, it seems like Jovi is the one who instigated it. So I cannot wait to hear what you all think of that when it plays out. Probably not in the first episode of the Tell All. You would think that's probably not coming until part 2, 3, or 4. Get this. Another storyline that we didn't hear anything about the entire season on Happily Ever After, when Yara and Jovi and their friends were giving us nothing, we could have been talking about this. There's a scene at the Tell All house where Yara tells Jasmine that she and Jovi are having relationship issues. She describes it like this. Yara and Jovi, they fight and fight and fight, and Yara says she cries and cries and cries. We did see a little dissension in their relationship when Jovi was trying to say that she was ugly when she was younger and he wouldn't stop and he kept saying the same dumb stuff over and over again. But what Yara is describing to Jasmine sounds a lot more serious. And again, is what I actually want to hear as a fan. That's what I actually tuned into Happily Ever After for, was to see if Yara and Jovi are living happily ever after, not who texted who in the cast chain. Yara adds, it's hard to imagine I can lose Jovi in my life. Really, Yara? That's where I'm going to have to stop you here. We got to find out what's really going on. But would it make a difference to Yara if she wasn't with Jovi anymore? Remember, he works a job out on oil rigs where he is gone for months at a time anyway. She makes her own money and is very busy with her businesses. She has no problem giving an image of a boss woman, a hardworking mother on social media. And I just feel like Jovi could, for a friend's phrase to put it, Jovi could just lift right out of Yara's life. Do you guys agree? Or is that too harsh? I wonder what he's been up to make her cry and cry and cry. Oh, I hope we don't have to wait too many weeks to find out. A couple that gave us plenty of unhappily ever after on this season were Georgi and Darcey, who are continuing their heated argument. He tries to open up about being torn over whether or not to have kids. This does not go the way that I thought it would. He is really saying a lot of nice things to Darcey and professing his love. When Darcey tries to get up and run away, he even hugs her and tells her that he loves her, but Darcey still storms out of this conversation. It is clearly such a raw topic for her. And then she tells the cameras that maybe they should get divorced. It wasn't too much of a cliffhanger and it wasn't a very long scene for the finale, but it looks like we get some real drama from them at the tell-all. Georgi and Darcey's marriage is hanging by a thread. By the time they have filmed this in early October, her sister Stacy and her husband Florian are on set with them as well. I'm always entertained by the Silva sisters together, and I like that it feels like we've been getting the real story from Stacy this season as to what's really going on with Georgi and Darcey. So we get this out of Darcey at the tell-all.
He does flirt and dirt when he goes out. I've seen it. He does it point blank. It's not like he's hiding it, so I have suspicions.
I talk with beautiful woman. Oh, she's jealous, obviously.
I'm not jealous. I'm just
like I'm
show me some
flirting.
respect.
No, it's just networking. I just talk with people.
I want to say, if Florian can come here to America, yes, he cheated once before that, but if he can come here and be faithful and just be satisfied with his life with Stacy, and he goes out all the time too. They talked a little bit about what happens when he goes out by himself on the last resort, but it's all good. If Florian can be a faithful husband, why can't Georgi? I'm not sure I believe that Georgi ever cheated. I guess I'll be looking like a fool if it comes out on the tell-all that he did. But it seems like there is lots of lies and secrets going down between Georgi and Darcey. What is this moment about in the tell-all?
You are lying. That is so disgusting that you're doing this right now.
Woo! What is Georgi going to reveal? Remember that bomb he dropped calling them all poor and that they spend all their money stupidly? What does he now have to say about Darcey? Is it going to be another detail that really he should be discussing with his wife privately? I'm really wondering what that's going to be about. Stacy then drops her own bomb.
Did you tell everybody what he said the day after you got married?
So they break the fourth wall a lot at the tell-alls and kind of wait all season to do that, to address anything where they have to talk about it being a reality show and the fact that they're filming a show. So I'm wondering if what Georgi said after him and Darcey got married has something to do with like, well, now we did it for the show, or, oh, I'll see you in 3 months when we're filming again. What was it that he said? And was it something that is acknowledging the show? Is that why we're finally getting it on the Happily Ever After tell-all, when really they were celebrating their 1-year anniversary at the beginning of this season? So their marriage is years in the past at this point, but it probably just will help the fans understand how real really is Darcey and Georgi's relationship. Another couple still in marriage limbo when they filmed the tell-all is Kara and Guillermo. So we have not seen them on Happily Ever After in weeks. They weren't in the finale. But if you will remember, 3 weeks ago, we got our very first look at the tell-all. It was less than 15 seconds, but it was Kara and Guillermo talking about Kara's potential cheating. It was one of the other cast members saying, well, at least she didn't cheat. And Guillermo going, well, that clip made it sound like Guillermo was about to reveal that Kara did in fact cheat on him, which I think all of us fans have assumed at this point, right? We got to get the dirty details on that. And maybe a little dirty dancing too. I would call this the most unexpected moment of the entire tell-all. So when they are back at the house, we see this in the trailer. Julia daring Guillermo to dance for Kara.
You are there.
Okay, there.
I want you are dancing for your wife. Yeah. Put the sandwich inside your...
And then Guillermo whips off his shirt and goes all Chippendales for his estranged wife, putting his sweater around her neck, climbing on top of her. Kara's reaction to Guillermo really trying and giving her this sexy dance is that Kara cringes and cannot even be bothered to put down what looks like an Uncrustable that she's eating, some sort of maybe peanut butter and jelly sandwich with the crust cut off because she's an adult. A few of the ladies on this season do have OnlyFans accounts or other spicy subscriptions. I think maybe Guillermo's the one who could really do well there. And I don't think he would have to do a whole lot. Just him taking off his shirt and doing a little dance, if he would message with people. He's so endearing. And so I can imagine that he could really charm a lot of women into just paying for messaging with him. He probably wouldn't even have to do a whole lot of thunder down undering. Maybe him and Dylan could get together, do a collab on OnlyFans. Oh, the possibilities are endless. Let's get back to the tell-all. Is Kara's reaction to Guillermo dancing for her the reaction of someone who has already moved on? It just felt to me like a lot of the times when a couple is trying to play out the end of their relationship and one of them already has a new partner that they're trying not to cheat on or piss off when they're there filming with their current partner. Kara's reaction just read to me like, no, I don't want my new boyfriend to think that I'm going to sleep with my husband tonight and ask too many questions. Ooh, I'm kind of sorry to question Kara's character as much as we have this season. And I hope that we can really just get the answers to that and that she can move on as a single mom in this universe as someone who is maybe respected and well-liked if we see more of her in the future. A couple we have not seen on the show and do not see hide nor hair of in the tell-all trailer is Adnan and Tigerlily. I watched the trailer so closely to see if perhaps they had been there on set and had been cut out. Are there any wide shots that show everything? Does it look at any point like maybe someone else in the cast is talking off to a screen? Like perhaps Tigerlily and Adnan appeared virtually, which would have been really easy to cut them out that way. I checked all these shots, counted how many couples are on each side. It seems like at some points, Julia and Brandon are not shown, but they're the ones who are on the couch cut out of a lot of those wide shots. It's not Tigerlily and Adnan. So while a lot of people online are assuming that they were there and cut out, I'm not sure that Tigerlily and Adnan were there and filmed at all, or if they appeared virtually and perhaps were cut out of that too. Meanwhile, the couple themselves are still pretending that they were canceled for speaking out against genocide in Palestine, when we all know that truly they were canceled most recently, and this was just in the last few weeks, because of Adnan praising Hitler and the Holocaust on Instagram. Tigerlily went so far as to post this just a couple days ago as the Happily Ever After Tell All trailer was airing for the first time. She was saying on Instagram stories, she does not care if she is denied opportunities for speaking up for her political beliefs. But Adnan's post praising Hitler and approving the Holocaust was made after the tell-all filmed. Now I think perhaps they were told that they were going to be cut out of the tell-all, and that is perhaps why Adnan just said F it and went full bore. Or were Adnan and Tigerlily not invited to the tell-all at all, or cut from appearing virtually, not because of their social media posts and Adnan's past fighting with fans after his last tell-all aired? Perhaps it's because of Adnan's fight, his physical altercation with Niles at their last tell-all. Remember at the 90 Day Fiancé season 11 tell-all, Adnan left the set and then he went nose to nose backstage with Niles, where they went back and forth about respect and had to be told by the crew to separate. You know TLC does not want that to happen again. That was not a good look for anybody, especially when Niles is autistic. There was a lot made about that. This was either a decision where TLC said, we cannot risk that happening again. You guys are going to appear virtually. We can't risk that happening again. We aren't having you guys at the tell-all at all. And maybe this was the plan the entire time, seeing as how their story only played out in the first 9 episodes of the season anyway. So it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to have them there if TLC wanted to continue showing us Adnan and Tigerlily's story. They could have just done that on the season. Will we ever know what really happened? Yes, I'm sure Tigerlily and Adnan want to tell us all whether they were there or not, but they are likely under an NDA. The only motivation Tigerlily and Adnan would have now to keep their mouths shut is if TLC is holding a paycheck over their head saying, we will pay you after this season finishes airing if you don't tell everybody on social media that you were there and caused a fuss and got cut, or that TLC cut them out after their social media action. So still a lot of questions there, but what are Tigerlily and Adnan up to in real time? I think you guys will find this very interesting. Probably as the finale episode was airing on Sunday night, they were on their way to the airport to pick up Adnan's family, who is visiting the couple in Texas. So we will never get to see that on TV. I'm kind of interested. How would that go? What does his family think? How do they act We only saw a little bit of them on the show before, even like his brother especially. I would like to know, I could see Adnan really posturing in front of his family that he is the man and he is going to make this an Islamic household. But we will never, ever know, because I don't think we are going to see Adnan and Tigerlily on our screens ever again. If we were going to, they would be at this tell-all. So next week, it finally goes down. Tell All No Limits Part 1 airs on Sunday, November 9th on TLC, and then the next day on HBO Max, or watch it on both. That's what I do. Remember last week we were wondering what is going to take the place of Happily Ever After airing in that 2-hour slot on Sunday nights. TLC has announced nothing. There is no press release or trailers out for any new seasons of anything, but there has been some speculation. There is just one promo shot circling online saying that perhaps Before the 90 Days will be the new season to roll out in that time slot in what is, 4 or 5 weeks after the Happily Ever After Tell All concludes. I would love to see it. Before the 90 Days is always where we meet new couples that we end up being invested in for years and seasons, all the way through Happily Ever After and beyond. So there will be a lot to talk about there, and that'll be a lot of fun. I wasn't sure if we would get to recapping The Other Way this week because there was so much to talk about for Happily Ever After, but honestly, the episodes just really aren't giving us much. I hate to say that every week because I think if you don't have something nice to say, you shouldn't say anything at all. So I wasn't going to recap the episode, but you know what? There were some important things that went down, and I want to give you guys some details here. So let's jump into last night's brand new episode of The Other Way, where Chloe's mom, Michelle, arrives and shockingly does not seem as doting and as spoiling of Chloe as we would guess by the way that Chloe acts. They go to Johnny's house where her mom gets a little tour, and her mom isn't impressed at all, but I was. I thought the little house where Johnny and Chloe are living, it was cute, it was clean, it's bigger than probably my apartment and most people that I know's homes. But her mom insists that the novelty of this whole living situation, hanging out in Aruba, is going to wear off for Chloe very quickly. And I think she's probably right about that. We can tell that from how little they clearly filmed. This is just a few days of the relationship that we're seeing. But Chloe is pretending, even though she says at the beginning of the episode, I've only been here for a week, she is pretending that she is staying and that they have to go car shopping so that she can get a job. Ha! Well, I assume that your mom is going to pay for that car. And yes, we were all right in that assumption. Who needs a job when mom's paying all your bills? Michelle reveals that in the time that Chloe has been going back and forth to Aruba, Michelle has given her over $20,000 for flights, rent, etc. For Chloe to go home to Boston and get her hair done. Mom is footing the bills for all of that. And it sounds like it happened more than once. So now we really got Chloe's number. I just don't understand where that storyline is going to go. Please shock us. Please give us something good, TLC. Well, Madeleine and Luke are still showing out. Of course, we didn't see them last week. This week, Madeleine meets up with Luke, not to talk about their wedding, but to talk about their multiple businesses. This is the hotel that they are supposedly going to buy and create together. Again, I'll quit this show and never talk about 90 Day Fiancé again if Madeleine and Luke ever open a hotel. But what I found interesting in this conversation was the way that Madeleine says to him, I am single now, made me think that she has other prospects. And remember, there was a little bit of talk about what she was doing when Luke wasn't there in the past. Madeleine is smart. And if she is keeping her eye out for the next guy to come along and help her build the life that she wants and be the boss woman, businesswoman that she wants to be, someone else can come along who can give her that faster and better than Luke. I'm guessing she'd be going right along with him. And she's a big enough character that the cameras might even follow her to another relationship. Luke very carefully responds to all of this and tells her that he will give her what she wants, which is her name being on the deeds of the potential hotel and her name being on the businesses, all of that. Luke is really taking advantage of the language barrier between the two of them in this conversation. He is saying like, yeah, we'll do this, we'll do that, without really saying specifically what he's going to do or what this or that are. He's really treating her like she is dumb, while she's really saying, no, you want us to go to this spiritual cleanse, which is what they do later after their conversation in the park. That's just another one of your dumb ideas. The earring that he's wearing in that scene is another one. But it all just makes me wonder once again, as I do at the end of every one of their scenes, why is Luke scamming this child bride to marry him? I have to cut things out that I say every week and really watch my tongue. If you do the research, which I have, the timing is there, and it certainly seems like Madeleine was 19 when we first saw them on Love in Paradise, and Luke is saying he had known her for a year and a half. There was something weird going on here at the beginning, and there's no reason for him to be marrying this woman who is so young. I will step off my soapbox now and move on to Manon and Anthony, because Manon has no problem standing up for herself. She goes to confront her Aunt Christine in this episode, but is surprisingly, they have a nice exchange. Even when Aunt Christine criticized the restaurant and the food where Manon was holding her post-baptism family gathering, but Manon says she wanted to surprise her family by not starting any drama with her aunt. And it sounds like she really did that. Despite the fact that Manon handles her aunt with a lot of grace, the cameras don't catch what goes down later, which is Manon's sister Marie starting an argument at the end of the night because she still says, "Oh, Manon, I thought she was going to cause drama and it affects me too. This is my family too." It sounds like Marie was really expecting Manon to go off so that Marie could go off. And when that didn't happen, Marie went off anyway, but we won't know because the cameras didn't catch this. You know, they were pissed off about that. They're still around. They were probably packing up because they get the conversation that goes down between Manon and her parents in the parking lot afterward. Her parents went from being super supportive before when she was having a meltdown last episode to now, after this fight with her sister, they are calling for Manon to change her character and are just really going hard and being super blunt and critical of her. Manon asserts that she did not have these problems with people in Los Angeles, so why is she having them now with her family? Yeah, what is that? It's just a whole different place, and your family probably didn't understand what you were going through then. Now that they are really all there together in person, things are a little bit different. Here's what's going to go down on The Other Way next week. Oh man, we'll be having our happily ever after tell all hangover by then, by Monday night, to watch Jenny and Sumit get ready to open their family cafe, as they're going to call it. And his dad uses toilet water to boil the potatoes that they will serve, which Sumit says that's not going down in my cafe. Thank goodness he's actually got a little bit of sense there for once. Sumit, who had no plan for this cafe, and it is now really coming to bite him in the ass. What about Dylan and Pattiya? They're going to go hunting for some furniture to fill up that cute little house that Dylan renovated for them to live in together. And it is revealed that Pattiya is more than $20,000 in debt. So Dylan questioning her about her spending and really giving her that lecture last episode about how she needs to change her ways financially is understandable. I'm really rooting for Dylan and Pattiya as a couple, and for her to be able to get over her issues and really stand tall and be confident in the way that she lives her life. So we will have to stay tuned for that. Then Luke will confess to a friend that he is at his lowest low in life. Yeah, we see it, babe, when you're sitting there with that cake all over your face, figuratively and literally. Then Luke's friend is going to urge him to wake up, he says, and leave Madeleine. I think that's really a conversation that her friend should be having with her, although she seems like she has enough sense to really be looking at what else is out there. We'll get one more couple next week on The Other Way, Greta and Matthew. She will finally tell him that she isn't sure she wants to have kids anymore. He says, "We've talked about having kids hundreds of times, and this is a real shock to me to hear that she now does not want to have children." A common conversation we have seen go down on this franchise lots of times. And now we will get to see Greta and Matthew hash it out. And I will be back next week covering all of the happily ever after tell all no limits chaos. We might not have time for The Other Way recap next week. We might have to separate those two. I'll let you all know. Make sure that you are subscribed to my YouTube channel and watch 90 Day Fiancé Unfiltered on YouTube. That's where you can see all the receipts. I have played all these clips of the tell all. If you like to listen, I am on Apple Podcasts or anywhere you get your podcasts. You can also follow and interact with me on Instagram at 90 Day Fiancé Pod. That's a new account there, and I am really working hard to build it up and to give you guys some stuff that you don't usually see there on social media. So these episodes drop every Tuesday night. You can always get the link over there on the IG page and watch my other videos on my YouTube channel. I just covered the wildest tell-all moments of all, some leaked moments, things that we didn't know at the time, the secrets that have now come out since the airings of the tell-alls many years ago. I learned some things I didn't even know doing research for this video. It's a real jaw dropper. So make sure you go over and check out my tell-all scandals video and get ready because we will be back next week breaking it all down. Thank you so much. I'm too excited. I can't even stop talking right now. This is my least favorite part of the show anyway, where I have to cut it off. I just want it to be tell all time. I want to have all the answers, and I want you guys to be giving me your opinion so that we can all discuss. It's going to be so great. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you so soon. Have a great week. Bye-bye.